My name is Journey Polly and I'm a 10th grader at York Academy, and this is my first personal project video. In this video, I'm going to be learning and teaching you guys how to make the Japanese dessert melon pan as a part of my project. So the first step of baking anything is to wear an apron and wash your hands. So now that we have our aprons on, we're going to start baking. I also put my hair up. I'm going to be following the melon pan recipe off of a website called Just One Cookbook. The first thing the recipe says is to grab a measuring cup, a whisk, and a large bowl. The first thing we're going to make is our bread dough, and to do that, you're going to add in a cup and 3/4 plus 2 tablespoons of bread flour, 3.5 tablespoons of cake flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar to your mixing bowl. Then you're going to grab your whisk and you're going to mix it all up until it's fully combined. Next, you're going to add 1 1/4 teaspoon of instant yeast and then whisk that together. Then you're going to set that bowl aside and grab yourself a smaller bowl, a fork, and an egg. You're going to crack that egg into the smaller bowl and then mix it all together, and make sure you don't get any eggshells into the bowl. Just scramble it like normal until it's fully mixed. Then you're going to grab your bigger bowl with the dry ingredients in it, and you can pour the egg into the mixture and mix that all up until it's fully combined. Then you're going to add 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of whole milk and 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of water. And as you can see, I totally forgot to add in the water, but it's okay, everybody makes mistakes and I'll add it later. Next, you're going to mix that all up, and it was easier for me to do this with my hands, but if you want, you can do it with a wooden spoon or a spatula. And that's me adding in the water that I forgot to add in previously, and I continued to mix that with my hands until it was fully combined, and it was a pretty sticky texture. Next, you can roll your dough into a ball and flour your surface lightly with bread flour, and I also like to flour my hands a little bit as well. Next, you're going to knead your dough, and yours is not going to be as sticky as mine because I forgot to record the first round of kneading. This is what the second round is going to look like. But basically, you're going to press the heels of your hands into the dough and push forwards, and then you're going to fold the top half down towards you and rock forwards on your lower palms to press it flat. And kneading was a challenge for me. It's going to hurt your arms, and it's just a very demanding, long process, so make sure you take breaks if you need to. Alright, next you're going to roll your dough into a ball, and then you're going to press it into a log sort of shape, and you're going to add your unsalted butter onto the log, and they should be sliced up pretty thinly. And as best as you can, you're going to roll the butter into the dough, and just make sure you get all those butter pieces inside there as best as possible. And once all your butter is folded into there, you're going to continue kneading, and it's going to get pretty sticky. Next, you're going to continue kneading your dough using the slam and fold method. So you're going to hold one end of the dough and slam the other end of the dough onto your working surface. And then you're going to fold the bottom end up and away from you. And you're just going to turn it 90 degrees and just knead it with your lower palm. And repeat those steps. So now we're going to test if our dough is ready for the next step by using the window pane method. So you're going to stretch the dough out into like a thin rectangle, and if light passes through the rectangle easily, then that's how you know your dough is ready to rise. And if it rips, like mine just did, then you should continue kneading for about 2 minutes. And after a lot of testing and kneading and testing again, my dough was finally ready for the next step. Next, you're going to roll your dough into a ball and tuck all the edges down to the bottom. Then you're going to pinch all the edges together and place your dough in a bowl with the seams facing down. Next, you're going to cover the bowl with plastic wrap. So this next step is to let the dough rise, which normally takes about 1 to 2 hours. The dough should completely double in size. And to speed this process up, I'm going to put 4 bowls of boiling hot water in the bottom rack of my oven, and then in the top rack of my oven, I'm going to put the bowl with the dough in it so that it gets steamy and warm in there, and that it can grow faster. And while we're waiting for the dough to rise, we're going to start the biscuit dough. Next, you're going to put 1/4 cup of cubed room temperature unsalted butter into a bowl. Then mash that butter up until it's nice and smooth. Add 1/2 cup of sugar to your butter. Then you're going to mash it up again until it's fully combined. Now you can set that bowl aside and you can grab yourself a smaller bowl and an egg and a fork, and you can scramble an egg. Then you can grab your egg and sugar mixture back and add 1/2 of the eggs into your bowl. Then you can mix that all up until it's fully combined. Then you're going to add the other 1/2 of the eggs and mix it up until it's fully combined. Then once you're done mixing, you're gonna add 1 cup and 2/3 of cake flour and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder to your mixture. Then you're gonna mix it all up until it's fully combined, and it should be a dough texture. And you might have to mix with your hands a little bit. Then you're gonna get your dough out of your bowl and roll it into a ball on your work surface, and make sure you get all the little pieces of dough onto your ball. Next, you're going to cut your dough into 10 even pieces, and you can go about this any way that you want to, but the way that I did it is I rolled it into a log sort of shape, and then I made marks where I was going to cut it, and then I cut it up and adjusted it. If there was pieces that were too big, I put some of the dough onto the smaller pieces, and I just adjusted it until it Next, you're going to roll each piece of dough into a smooth ball, and if you need to, you can adjust the proportions of each dough piece, but just make sure that they're all even and smooth. Next, you're going to place each of the dough balls onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I rolled mine once more in this step just to make sure all of them were even and smooth, and you're going to refrigerate them for 10 minutes. Next, you're going to get out your bread dough and you're going to test if it's ready. So you're going to poke your finger in the middle of the dough, and if it doesn't grow back or bounce back, then you know it's ready. Next, you're going to wipe down your surface and flour it lightly with bread flour. Then you're going to take your dough and you're going to place it onto your work surface, and you're going to try to flatten it as much as possible to take the excess air out. So just push as hard as you can onto the dough so that it's flat to the So this next step can be a little confusing, but just try your best to follow along. So you're going to fold the sides of the dough into thirds towards the middle, and then you're going to fold the top and the bottom into thirds as well. You're going to flip it over and roll it into a ball, and then to close the seams, you're going to place the seams face down and rotate it clockwise with both hands. Now you're going to cut your dough into 10 even pieces, and I went about mine the same way as I did the last time, but again, you can do it however you want. Just make sure that all of your pieces are even, and you can adjust as needed. Next, you're going to roll them into balls and set them aside to rest for 15 minutes at room temperature. Next, you're going to get your biscuit dough back out, and you're going to flatten each dough ball into around a 4-inch circle. And you can use a rolling pin, but I just used the bottom of a measuring cup. And you're just going to repeat that until you have a stack of little dough discs. Next, you're going to put your biscuit dough aside and you're going to grab your bread dough. You're going to flatten each ball, and then you're going to fold the top and the bottom into thirds, as well as folding the left and the right into thirds. Then you're going to pinch all the ends together to form a ball, and then roll it until it's smooth, and repeat for all of the dough balls. Alright, we made it. Now it's time to assemble our melon pans. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to place a biscuit dough disc onto your palm, and put a bread dough ball in the middle, and then flip it over and bring the seams together of the biscuit dough and set it aside face down, and you're going to repeat until all of your melon pans are shaped and you're satisfied with all of them. Next, you're going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar in a small bowl and dip the top of each ball in the sugar. And you're going to make the grid pattern with a fork and then you're going to cover the dough with plastic wrap and let it rise for about 50 minutes. And if you have a proof setting on your oven, you can use that too. After your dough has finished resting, you can bake it at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes or until the biscuit dough crust is golden brown. Cool them for 5 minutes and then you can enjoy. So some of my melon pans exploded a little bit, but they all taste really good, and some of them are pretty good, pretty perfect. The waffle design is so pretty, and I really like the way that they look, and they taste really good. I would probably rate it like a solid 7 out of 10. It's honestly pretty hard to make. All the kneading was pretty intense, but I really like the cookie crust, and I would call this a success. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for the next ones.